The silent exodus. The sky burned an angry crimson as the last remnants of human resistance crumbled beneath the overwhelming might of the Krell invasion. Massive biomechanical warships blocked out the sun, their obsidian hulls casting permanent shadows over what remained of Earth's major cities. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the research vessel Horizon, her fingers gripping the command console with a white-knuckled intensity that betrayed nothing of the storm raging inside her. 37 minutes, Dr. Kai Chen muttered, his voice a mixture of scientific calculation and barely contained despair. That's all we have left before total planetary collapse. Belina didn't respond immediately. Her eyes scanned the holographic displays showing the catastrophic battlefield. Entire continents were being systematically erased, human civilization reduced to smoldering ruins in a matter of hours. The Krell didn't just want to conquer. They wanted to completely eradicate any trace of human existence. Not minutes, Kai, she finally said, her voice steady. Opportunity. We've got 37 minutes of opportunity. The ship's primary mission had transformed in an instant. No longer were they explorers or researchers. They were now humanity's last hope. A preservation team tasked with ensuring the species' survival against an enemy that saw them as nothing more than an inconvenient infestation. Dr. Chen understood immediately. His fingers began flying across the quantum computing interface, accessing classified databases and emergency protocols that most believed were nothing more than theoretical contingency plans. The Genesis protocols, he whispered. They were never meant to be used. But if ever there was a time, the Genesis protocols represented humanity's most ambitious and secretive survival strategy. Developed in absolute secrecy over decades, it was a comprehensive plan for human preservation that went far beyond simple evacuation. It involved genetic archives, advanced technological blueprints, cultural preservation matrices, and most critically, a method of human genetic and technological reconstruction. We'll need at least 3 data cores transferred, Elena said, her military training cutting through the chaos. 1 primary, 2 redundant backups. Location. Kai was already ahead of her. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter had been prepared decades ago, a hidden sanctuary studded with camouflaged research stations and emergency shelters. Automated systems would activate, creating a safe haven invisible to the Krell's advanced scanning technologies. Alarms blared across the bridge. Multiple Krell battle groups were converging on their position, their biomechanical weapons charging with deadly energy. Standard military doctrine would dictate immediate retreat or surrender. But Elena Rodriguez was not interested in standard doctrine. Prepare quantum encryption sequence, she ordered. We're taking everything. Every scrap of human knowledge, every genetic sample, every technological blueprint. The Krell might destroy our cities, but they will not erase our potential. The Horizon began a complex series of maneuvers, using experimental quantum disruption technology to create multiple false sensor signatures. To the Krell, it would appear as though dozens of ships were attempting escape, when in reality, only one, carrying humanity's genetic and technological legacy, would slip away. Dr. Chen looked up from his console, a rare smile breaking through his typically stoic demeanor. They never understood us, he said. The Krell see technology as a tool of conquest. We see it as an expression of hope. As the first Krell energy weapons began to slice through the surrounding space, the Horizon activated its ultimate defense, a technology so advanced it bordered on miraculous. Quantum entanglement drives engage, creating multiple potential realities simultaneously. To any observer, the ship would appear to fragment, dissolve, and vanish. In truth, it was preparing to jump, not just through space, but through the very fabric of potential existence. 37 minutes. 1 ship, the entire blueprint of human civilization. The exodus had begun. Sanctuary in the shadows. The asteroid belt hummed with silent potential. What appeared to be a lifeless collection of rocky fragments concealed humanity's most sophisticated hidden sanctuary. Deep within a hollowed-out asteroid nearly 50 kilometers wide, The Phoenix Complex represented more than just a survival base. It was a crucible of human resilience. Captain Elena Rodriguez walked through the central research hub, her boots echoing against the reinforced quantum alloy floors. Around her, hundreds of scientists, engineers, and surviving specialists worked with an intensity that bordered on religious devotion. They were no longer just researchers. They were humanity's architects of revenge. Dr. Kai Chen stood before a massive holographic display, multiple projection layers showing complex technological schematics. The Krell made one fundamental mistake, he explained to Elena. They view technological advancement as a linear progression. We see it as an adaptive ecosystem. The display shifted, revealing intricate designs that seemed to defy conventional engineering. Micro-adaptive quantum neural networks, biomimetic energy systems, stealth technologies that could render entire ships invisible not just to sensors, but to fundamental physical observation. We're not rebuilding, Elena responded, understanding the deeper implication. We're reimagining. The Phoenix Complex was divided into multiple critical sections. The genetic preservation wing housed millions of human DNA samples, carefully cataloged and preserved. The technology development sector worked on technologies that would make current military paradigms obsolete. The cultural archive maintained not just human knowledge, but the essence of human creativity and spirit. Most critically, they were developing something the Krell could never comprehend: adaptive warfare strategies that prioritized intelligence over brute force. Our first prototype is ready for initial testing, announced Dr. Amara Okoro, head of the Quantum Warfare Division. She was a brilliant quantum physicist whose family had been lost during the initial invasion. Like everyone in the Phoenix Complex, her work was driven by more than scientific curiosity. It was fueled by a profound desire for survival and eventual justice. The prototype was a small drone, barely the size of a human hand, but its internal systems represented a quantum leap in technological capability. It could analyze battlefield conditions in microseconds, adapt its own programming in real time, and develop strategies that would be unpredictable to any conventional military intelligence. The Krell's collective intelligence is their strength, Dr. Chen explained, but it's also their greatest weakness. They operate on predictive algorithms. We're creating something that doesn't just predict, it imagines. Elena watched the prototype drone perform a series of impossible maneuvers, shifting between physical states, creating multiple potential trajectories simultaneously. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a living testament to human creativity. Weeks turned into months. The Phoenix Complex became more than a survival base. It transformed into humanity's intellectual forge. Every system was designed with multiple redundancies, every technology developed with the understanding that they might be humanity's last hope. Communication was carefully managed. Encrypted quantum entanglement signals were sent out periodically, searching for other potential human survivors. Each message was a carefully constructed beacon, part information, part hope, part challenge to the universe itself. We're not hiding, Elena would tell the teams during their weekly assemblies. We're preparing. The Krell didn't just attack our planets, they challenged our potential, and we are going to demonstrate exactly what human potential looks like. As another prototype drone completed its test run, creating impossible geometric patterns in the research chamber, Dr. Chen turned to Elena with a look that was part scientific excitement, part strategic determination. We're ready, he said simply. The next phase of human resistance was about to begin. The unexpected counterattack. The Krell never anticipated a predator evolving in the shadows. Their vast interstellar network sprawled across thousands of star systems, a seemingly impenetrable web of technological dominance. Massive command stations monitored countless conquered worlds, their biomechanical sensors constantly scanning for potential threats. But they had a fatal blind spot, an inability to comprehend true adaptive intelligence. Captain Elena Rodriguez studied the holographic battlefield projection, her fingers tracing potential attack vectors that defied conventional military logic. Beside her, Dr. Kai Chen, and Dr. Amara Okoro watched as their months of preparation prepared to become reality. Target is the Nexus 9 communications hub, Elena announced. It's not just a strategic point. It's a psychological trigger. The Krell Communications Network was their nervous system, a centralized intelligence that coordinated their entire military and administrative infrastructure. Destroying it wouldn't just be a military victory. It would be a complete systemic shock. Their plan was audacious. Instead of a direct attack, they would infiltrate using technologies that the Krell couldn't even comprehend. Quantum adaptive drones would penetrate the station's defenses, not by force, but by existing in multiple potential states simultaneously. Remember, Dr. Okoro warned, we're not just attacking. We're demonstrating. The first wave of infiltration began silently. Microscopic quantum-entangled nanoprobes began integrating with the Krell's own technological infrastructure. They didn't attack. They adapted, becoming part of the system while slowly rewriting its fundamental operational parameters. In the command center of the Phoenix complex, Elena watched as their first tactical layers began to take effect. Krell defense systems started experiencing inexplicable glitches. Communication channels began to fragment. Strategic coordination became incrementally more difficult. They won't even realize they're being dismantled, Dr. Chen said, a rare smile crossing his typically serious face. We're not destroying their technology. We're fundamentally changing how it perceives reality. The attack was psychological as much as it was technological. Each quantum adaptive probe carried not just destructive potential, but complex information packets, glimpses of human history, culture, and resilience. It was as if humanity was saying, "We are more than you understand. We are possibility itself." As the Nexus 9 station began to experience systemic failures, something unprecedented happened. The Krell's centralized intelligence started to fragment. Their collective consciousness, their greatest strength, became their most significant vulnerability. Backup systems failed, communication relays collapsed, and for the first time in their galactic conquest, the Krell experienced something they had never known: uncertainty. Elena watched the final stages of the operation with a calm that belied the magnitude of what was happening. This wasn't just a counterattack. It was a redefinition of warfare itself. "We're not just fighting," she said quietly. "We're evolving." The Nexus 9 station, once a symbol of Krell technological supremacy, began to collapse from within. Not through explosive destruction, but through a subtle, fundamental reconfiguration of its own systemic intelligence. When the dust settled, it wouldn't be a battlefield of destruction. It would be a message. Humanity was not just surviving. Humanity was reimagining the very concept of conflict. In the vast darkness of space, a new chapter was being written, not with weapons, but with imagination. The counterattack was complete.